Yo, I ain't here for the money, I ain't here for the fame. Though it might be nice to own a jet plane, I'ma do it all.
Apex. More or less a household name at this stage in the gaming world. You know, kind of blowing up and taking over the whole battle royale scene. Kind of took over the gaming scene while it was seal? I wouldn't say scene. You know, there was a good few things that's helped it with its rapid rise though. You know, nice gameplay, surprise launch, great team play elements, like really good. You know, incorporating new ideas to the battle royale format. One thing though that I'll be talking about today is characters. More so the Lifeline to be specific. One of the key differences between Apex and other battle royale games, you know, in my opinion obviously, is the use of characters. Obviously right now there's 8 characters out. You know, all with 3 abilities, all different abilities obviously, you know, ranging from say Mirage's decoy to Gibraltar's shields. However, the one character that stands out from the rest of them to me is Lifeline. I plan on going in, you know, in detail, giving opinions and reviewing each character individually all in due time. But for now, I'm going to be talking about the character I spent the most time playing as, and who, as I already said, stands out in comparison to the rest, which is Lifeline. Lifeline's a lot different to the other characters because she doesn't have any in-combat abilities that can help her herself. Obviously she has her heal drone, which I'll be talking about in a bit, but on a general level, she's the 100% support character on Apex right now. Pathfinder's a support character, but you know, once you know how to use it, his grapple can increase movement speed. He can pull enemies in, he can reach vantage points where other people can't. You know, that helps out a lot in combat. Obviously there's other characters outside the support role like Caustic and Bloodhound. But Caustic has his gas that can do damage to slow enemies down, while Bloodhound can literally track enemies. He can ping them through walls with one of his abilities. Not to mention how when he uses ult, he literally becomes the beast of the hunt. You know, then there's the other characters like Bangalore. Obviously, he's designed for combat. You know, smoke grenades and increased movement speed when she's being shot kind of shows that. Mirage has his decoys. He can turn invisible momentarily when he's down, and his ult literally makes him disappear. While sending out about, what, like 6 decoys? Gibraltar. Bear in mind, he does have the hitbox of a continent. But you know, he still has 2 shields. One of them, when you aim down sight, it can kind of stop headshots, I suppose. And then the other, you can deploy, and obviously stops bullets going in, stop bullets coming out. Pretty useful in combat, situationally. Obviously then, Wraith can set up portals, she can disappear. And then she gets warnings from the voice in her head whenever anybody's aiming at her. No matter who you play as now, obviously, each character in their own right requires skill. But honestly, they can use perfectly well with randoms, or even if you have a full team with your friends. Lifeline, on the other hand, how can you properly use a character whose core function is to be a healer when you're playing with randoms in a battle royale? The answer might be obvious to some. But like, how many times have we all come into games with either new people, or just people who simply don't know quite enough about the game yet to work properly with someone who's playing as Lifeline? Obviously, the core gameplay elements don't differ. What does differ though, is that a team who can make full use of Lifeline, it's much better off throughout the course of the game than a team who chooses her, but then doesn't use her correctly. Obviously the thing that makes each character different, bar their hitboxes, Gibraltar's being the size of Africa, is their abilities. Obviously with Lifeline, her abilities are the things that as a team people need to get used to. One thing I'll honestly say frustrates me in this game sometimes is when I'm playing as Lifeline, her abilities can feel completely useless. I've often had games where she doesn't quite help. And honestly, it does leave me feeling like I have a lot less to offer to the fight other than just raw ability as a player. And when you see your friends popping smoke grenades and, you know, teleporting around the place, it makes you feel a little bit less useful, to put it lightly. You know, her passive is very nice from a solo perspective, I have to admit. I probably glanced over it earlier, which I shouldn't have. But she can heal 25% faster than other characters. Obviously that's pretty good. A gold backpack, you know, level 4 backpack, that makes you heal 50% faster. So from the get-go, she can heal 25% faster, which is really good. Her passive also consists of a shield when she's reviving somebody. Obviously, a nice touch, but bar the rare moment in a tough firefight, it doesn't quite come in as much use as you'd think. You know, you can kind of tell from that then, when you have a random who leaves the second they down, or you're the last one alive in your team, her passive automatically becomes useless. Well, half it becomes useless. What good's a shield for reviving people when there's potentially no one to be revived? Her active ability, Doc Drone, you know, probably, definitely the most consistently useful ability from her. Her Doc Drone has a reasonably long cooldown, in my opinion. I'd say around 40 seconds, I guess. But you can drop it in any situation and it will heal the base health of anybody who stands by it. Obviously, by the fact I said base health, it doesn't heal your shield. I do believe it has a set amount of health to give, so to speak. When more than one person stands by it, it'll heal the same overall amount of health, but each person would get like less health than rather if they were standing there by themselves healing off it. It's kind of random, but one thing is it can heal your enemies. Obviously, your enemies' Doc Drones can heal you. I've never seen an enemy heal off my Doc Drone, but you know, it's just useful to take note of. Just don't leave in your random Doc Drone lying around the place, folks. Some bad people might go and take it on you. Her ult is just a supply drop. It comes in quicker than your regular supply drop, and you can tell it's different because obviously your regular supply drop that comes in during the game is the white and kind of orangey red color, whereas Lifeline supply drop is white and blue. Lifeline doesn't drop weapons, but rather only defensive equipment, you know, like shields, knockdown shields, and helmets. It drops attachments and healing items, you know, obviously syringes, medkits. Obviously, early doors is pretty good. I wouldn't complain about it, but it takes so long for it to build up. That's why everyone's basically like, here, look, here's an ult accelerator. Lifeline, take this, my dude. But, obviously, when you can get off early game, it's much nicer you having that level 3 shield before your enemies get one. Late game though, again, it leaves a lot to be desired, I'll put it that way. You know, near enough late game, you and most of your team should really have level 3 equipment, you know, in every position. Maybe a level 2 helmet or something like that, but you know, again, you're not guaranteed to get that level 3 of whatever it is you need from the supply drop. So late game, it's very situational. You know, two situations I think that's good in, not that it could be good in, that is good in, is say if you're in a firefight across a barren area, the ring's against you. Obviously, late game is when the ring actually starts doing damage. You know, late game is when the ring actually matters. But you can drop it, like say, in between the barren area, and you can use it as cover. Trust me when I say it does work. I've used it often enough. I haven't seen a lot of other people do it, surprisingly, but you know, it's out there. It's something for it to do. And the other one is if you just respond to a teammate and they've lost their equipment, you know, get them a shield, get them some meds. They can go find the gun. They're more or less kind of back in the game then. Obviously not set up as well as they were before, but you know, it's better than nothing. A lot of Lifeline stuff is situational. Depends who you're playing with, what equipment you have, your team's understanding of how you play her. How many are left on your team, where you are positionally in a gunfight. It may not seem like a lot, but the more you play her, the more you begin to notice it. I'm obviously no Shroud when it comes to this game, but I definitely think Lifeline is definitely the toughest character to make the most of. I won't say she's the most difficult, that's a different story for a different day, trust me. But she's definitely the hardest character to, say, fulfill her potential with each game, in my opinion. The game in the background, I barely use her abilities as much as I would like to. End game, when I die, I'd much rather have been playing Bangalore than I would have Lifeline. But that's because the end game scenario wasn't something that was looking favourable for me as Lifeline. I could have and probably should have tried to play it out differently. That's just my opinion, you know. I do 100% consider her to be a very useful character. But I think that of each character. That's why eventually I'll be putting out an opinion on each character over the course of time. A review, you know, just like this one, except obviously it's different characters. Each character is unique. As I said, she's the one that to me
It's different when you play as her. She's that one to me that stands out from the rest. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm hoping to put out more regular content over time. Potentially 2 videos a week. For next week, I say it should be each Thursday and Saturday. That remains to be seen though. Again, thanks all for watching. A share would really be appreciated to try get things up and going. Again, thanks for watching. I'll see you all in the next video, guys.